Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are attempting something a little ambitious. We're trying to decode the operating system of one of the most interesting minds in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, and I think operating system is exactly the right word for it.
It's not an exaggeration, is it? We're really looking at a set of algorithms for living.
It's a fascinating case study because we're not just looking at a biography today. We're looking at a compilation of wisdom that has been, battle-tested in the real world. We are diving into the Almanack of Naval Ravikant, compiled by Eric Jorgenson.
And I have to say, when I first picked this up, I was skeptical. It's been described as a cheat sheet for wealth and happiness, which, I don't know, that usually sets off my snake oil alarm.
Oh, for sure.
You know the type, the guru on Instagram standing in front of a rented Lamborghini telling you to buy their course, but then you look at the source and you realize this is different.
Right. Naval Ravikant isn't a guru selling a seminar. He's a practitioner. He's the founder of AngelList. He was an early investor in companies like Uber, Twitter, Notion, Stack Overflow. I mean, the guy is a heavyweight.
A certified heavyweight in the tech world. But what makes him this philosopher king, as people call him, is that he seems to have figured out the second half of the equation, too.
The happiness part.
The happiness part. And that's the core tension of this book, isn't it? Usually you get the tycoon who is miserable, stressed out, thrice divorced, and, addicted to sleeping pills.
Or on the flip side, you get the monk on the mountain who is completely at peace but can't pay for lunch.
Exactly. It's usually in either scenario in our culture. You sacrifice peace for success, or you sacrifice success for peace.
And Nabal's premise, and this is really our mission for this deep dive, is that you can, and actually should, master both. He treats getting rich and becoming happy not as traits you're born with or things that happen by accident.
But as learnable skills.
Learnable skills, that is the key phrase.
So, our mission today is to decode the naval formula. And it really is presented as a formula. We're going to cover how to build wealth without relying on luck, and then pivot to how to reach a state of happiness, or what he calls peace, without necessarily becoming a monk.
And a fair warning to you listening. Some of this is going to sound really counterintuitive.
Yeah.
He flips the script on how we think about hard work, about reading, about desire, and even about how we define luck.
Let's start with the money. Because, let's be honest, that's usually what hooks people in. Naval has this famous tweet storm that the book is based on titled, How to Get Rich Without Getting Lucky.
That parenthetical is everything.
That part, without getting lucky, is a massive claim. It almost sounds arrogant, doesn't it? Like, I meant to do this.
It does sound arrogant until you hear his explanation. He uses this really compelling thought experiment to prove his point. He says something like, strip me of everything. Take my money, my contacts, my reputation, drop me on a random street in any English-speaking country, and in 5 to 10 years, I will be wealthy again.
Wow. Okay, so that suggests that wealth isn't an event or a lottery win. It's a skill set that you carry around in your head.
Precisely. To get your head around this, we have to distinguish between what he calls blind luck and deterministic luck.
Okay.
Blind luck is, finding a suitcase of cash in the park or winning the Powerball. You can't plan for it. You can't teach it. It just happens to you. If you base your life strategy on blind luck, you're just gambling.
Right. But deterministic luck sounds like an oxymoron. How can luck be deterministic?
It means you build a character, a reputation, and a skill set so that luck finds you. You create so much opportunity, you put so much value out into the world that eventually the lucky break becomes a statistical inevitability.
I think the way I understood it is that you want to be the kind of person who gets rich in 999 out of 1,000 parallel universes.
That's the goal. You want to eliminate the variance. If you're relying on winning the lottery, you are rich in one universe and, broke in the other, 999,999. Naval wants you to build a foundation where wealth is the inevitable byproduct of who you are.
But before we get to the how, the tactics, we have to define terms. Because I think people use wealth, money, and status interchangeably. I know I do sometimes. But Naval says that is a fatal error.
It's the source of so much misery and confusion. Let's break them down. Wealth is the goal.
Right.
Wealth is assets that earn while you sleep. It's the factory, the computer code, the patent, the equity in a business. Wealth is freedom from time. If you have wealth, you don't have to be physically present for income to be generated.
Okay, that's clear. Then what is money?
Money is just the transfer mechanism. It's how we move wealth around. He calls it social credit, an IOU from society for work you've done in the past. But money itself isn't the wealth. It's the token we use to trade.
And then the villain of the story, status.
Status is the trap. It's your ranking in the social hierarchy. It's who is sitting at the head of the table, who had the nicer title, who won the election. Naval hates status games because they are, by definition, zero-sum.
Meaning, for me to win, you have to lose.
Exactly. If I'm the president, you can't be. If I'm the gold medalist, you're the silver medalist. Status is a fixed pie, a hierarchy.
Whereas wealth.
Wealth, on the other hand, is positive sum. We can all buy Amazon stock. We can all build software. We can all get wealthy. We can't all be number one.
And he warns that these two games conflict pretty badly, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
People playing status games, you see this a lot in politics, academia, even sports. They gain status by attacking people playing wealth games. They try to look virtuous by tearing down the people creating the assets.
So his advice is just opt out.
Simple as that. Ignore status games. They are angry, they are competitive in a negative way, and at the end of the day, they don't buy you freedom.
Okay, so the first step is to opt out of the status game. Ignore the hierarchy. Focus entirely on assets that earn while you sleep. So we're chasing wealth. How do we do it? The core framework in the book is summarized as productize yourself.
2 words. Productize.
Yeah.
Yourself. If you understand those 2 words deeply, you pretty much understand his entire economic philosophy.
It sounds a bit like a marketing buzzword, though. Productize yourself. It makes me think I need to become an influencer and sell merch or something.
And it can mean that, but it's actually much deeper and more personal. Let's look at the yourself part first. This connects to what Naval calls specific knowledge. This is probably the most challenging concept for people to grasp because it goes against everything we learned in school.
How so?
Well, think about school. School is designed to teach you things that can be taught to everyone else. It's standardized. The curriculum is the same for you as it is for the kid next to you. But Naval says specific knowledge is knowledge that you cannot be trained for.
Wait a minute. If I can't be trained for it, how do I get it?
You discover it. Specific knowledge is found by pursuing your genuine curiosity. It's the stuff that feels like play to you, but looks like work to others.
Can you give me a concrete example? Because follow your passion is
It is cliche, but this is more precise. Naval uses the example of a kid who is obsessed with sci-fi novels. They read them all day. Their parents yell at them to do their homework. To the kid, it's play. They're lost in these worlds.
But to the parent, it looks like a waste of time.
Exactly. But 20 years later, that kid has absorbed so many concepts about futurism, technology, and storytelling that they become a unique investor or a visionary founder. Their play became their specific knowledge.
Or think about someone like Joe Rogan. Naval brings him up.
A perfect example. You could not go to a university and get a degree in being Joe Rogan. What is his specific knowledge? It's this weird, unique intersection of being a cage-fighting commentator, a stand-up comedian, a psychedelic enthusiast, and just a great conversationalist.
If you tried to teach a class on that, you'd fail. It's too specific to him, to his life.
And because you can't teach it, you can't automate it, and you can't replace it. And this is the crucial economic point. If you can be trained to do a job, that means someone else can be trained to do it too.
And if they can be trained, they can replace you.
And if they can replace you, they can pay you less. Or a machine can replace you.
So specific knowledge is your moat. It's your protection against the market, driving your wages down to zero.
It is. And it usually lies at the intersection of your DNA, your unique upbringing, and your obsessions. Naval's big line here is, escape competition through authenticity. Basically, no one can compete with you on being you.
That's actually really liberating. It means I don't have to look at the market and say, oh, AI is hot right now. I need to force myself to learn Python, even though I hate it.
Right, because there is someone out there who loves Python. It feels like play to them. They will crush you because they'll work 16 hours a day and enjoy it while you're struggling to do 4. You have to find the thing where you are the natural.
Okay, so that's the yourself part, being authentically you, leveraging your unique obsessions. But you can't just be yourself in a basement and expect checks to show up in the mail.
No, of course not. You have to productize it. And that involves 2 other key ingredients, leverage and accountability.
Let's talk about accountability. This is the scary part for most people, I think.
It is. We are trained from a young age to hide in the herd. In a large corporation, the incentive is often to blend in. You want to be part of the team. So if the project fails, the team failed. It dilutes the blame.
Naval says do the opposite.
Do the absolute opposite. Take risks under your own name.
With your net on the line.
Yes. Say, I am doing this, my name is on it. If it fails, it's on me. Because society rewards people who can handle that risk. That's how you get equity, that's how you get leverage. If you aren't willing to sign your name to the work, You are just a cog in the machine.
He has a really strong point here about the difference between a salary and equity. It's fundamental.
It's everything. You cannot get rich renting out your time. If you're a doctor or a lawyer making, say, $500,000 a year, you are rich, but you aren't wealthy by Naval's definition.
Because if you stop working,
The money stops.
Hmm.
You are still trading time for dollars. Your inputs are tied directly to your outputs.
So you need to own a piece of the business. You need equity. That's the only way to disconnect your inputs, your hours, from your outputs, your income.
And to get that equity, to become an owner rather than just an employee, you usually have to bring something to the table. And that's where leverage comes in.
This is the productized part.
Mhm.
Naval quotes Archimedes. Give me a lever long enough and a place to stand, and I will move the earth. So in the business world, what are our levers?
Naval identifies three broad classes of leverage. And understanding the evolution of these three is key to understanding the modern economy. The first two are the classics, labor and capital.
Labor is just other people working for you, having employees.
Right. And interestingly, Naval calls this the worst form of leverage.
Which is funny because that's usually the status symbol, isn't it? I manage a team of 50 people. That's usually the sign that you've made it.
Exactly. It's a status symbol, so people chase it. But think about it from a pure wealth-building perspective. Managing people is messy. People have egos, they get sick, they sue you, they quit, they have bad days.
It's high friction.
It's extremely high friction. It requires tremendous leadership skill. You want leverage that works for you without complaining.
Okay, so labor is messy. Then there's capital, money.
This was the dominant leverage of the 20th century. Think Warren Buffett. If you have $1 billion, you can make a phone call and buy a factory. Your decision is multiplied by money. Money doesn't get tired. Money doesn't take sick days.
But the problem with capital is that you need permission. You need someone to give it to you.
Right. You have to ask a bank or a venture capitalist or a rich uncle. You need a gatekeeper to say, yes, here is the money. If you are starting from zero, capital is hard to get.
But the third kind of leverage, this is the game changer. This is why we are seeing 20-year-old millionaires.
Code and media. This is the leverage of the digital age. And it has two magical properties. First, it has zero marginal cost of replication.
Which means
If you write a piece of code, an app, let's say, it costs you the same amount of effort whether one person downloads it or 10 million people download it. The same with this deep dive. We record it once, and it can be listened to by 1 million people. The effort doesn't scale, but the output does. Compare that to a doctor. A doctor can only see one patient at a time. Their output is tied directly to their time.
And the second magical property,
It is permissionless.
that's the big one.
You don't need anyone's permission to write a Python script in your garage. You don't need a boss to tell you it's okay to upload a video to YouTube. You can create an army of robots, which is really just your code or your content, that does your bidding while you sleep.
Naval has that line. If you can't code, write books and blogs, record videos and podcasts.
Exactly. Media is the leverage for the non-technical. It allows you to scale your specific knowledge to the entire world without asking anyone for permission.
And this creates a massive divergence in society, doesn't it? I mean, this explains a lot.
It does. It's why the gap between the rich and the poor is growing. And it's not just policy, it's structural. A leveraged worker, someone using code or media, can outproduce a non-leveraged worker by a factor of 1,000, maybe more.
A shovel digger can only dig so fast.
Right. But a software engineer can write a script that automates 1 million data entries in a second.
So if you are working with infinite leverage, if you have an army of robots or millions of dollars backing your every move, your judgment becomes everything.
That's the pivot. In an age of leverage, judgment is the single most valuable skill. If you are steering a massive ship, a 1-degree turn changes the destination by 1,000 miles. You have to be right.
Naval compares it to a pilot versus a lumberjack. A lumberjack's output is tied to how hard he swings the axe hour after hour.
A pilot's output is tied to making a few critical decisions during the flight and getting them right.
And the CEO is the ultimate pilot. Naval points to Warren Buffett again. Buffett isn't working 100-hour weeks in a coal mine. He spends a year reading, thinking, playing bridge.
And then he makes one decision, he signs one deal. And that one moment of judgment is worth billions of dollars.
So the question is, how do we build that kind of judgment? Because I feel like my brain is fried half the time. I'm just reacting, not thinking.
Naval says the enemy of judgment is a busy calendar.
I feel that.
You cannot have good judgment if you are running from meeting to meeting. You need empty space.
You need to be bored.
You need time to think. He says he sets aside huge chunks of his day just to do nothing or to read. And speaking of reading, his advice here is also pretty unique. He rejects the news.
He calls it junk food for the brain.
Right. The news is just noise. It's what happened in the last 24 hours. It doesn't have predictive power. To build judgment, you need foundational knowledge. You need to understand how the world actually works.
First principles?
Exactly. Like microeconomics, game theory, evolutionary biology, math, physics. If you understand the basics, the operating system of reality, you can adapt to anything. If you just memorize the current trends, you're lost when the trends change next week.
I love his approach to reading books, too. He treats books like blogs.
Yeah, this liberated me from so much guilt. He says, I don't read books to finish them. I read them to find ideas. He'll skip chapters. He'll read the middle first. He'll drop a book after 20 pages if it's boring.
He's not trying to check a box. He's hunting for a mental model.
Exactly. He's collecting lenses to see the world,
Oh,
like inversion.
that's a Charlie Munger favorite.
Right. Instead of trying to be brilliant, just try not to be stupid. Instead of asking, how do I help this company succeed? Ask, what would absolutely kill this company? And then just don't do those things.
Or the principal agent problem.
A classic. If you are the owner, the principal, you care about the long-term outcome. If you hire someone, an agent, they care about their salary and looking good this quarter. Their incentives are not aligned with yours.
And if you understand that model, you understand why your employees might not be working as hard as you are. It's not because they are lazy. It's the structure of the game.
Right. There are two decision-making heuristics Naval gives that I have actually written down. The first one is, if you cannot decide, the answer is no.
That is so powerful in our world of infinite choice.
It is. We have too many options. Too many potential dates on an app, too many job offers, too many cities to live in. Naval says if you find yourself making a spreadsheet of pros and cons, it's a no.
Because if it was a hell yes, you wouldn't need the spreadsheet. You'd just know.
Exactly. In a long-term game like marriage or a business partnership, you only want the hell yes options. Because when things get hard, and they will, you need that deep conviction to keep going.
And the second one, easy choices, hard life. Hard choices, easy life.
That's the discipline. If you take the easy path now, eat the donut, skip the gym, avoid the difficult conversation, your life becomes hard later. You get sick, you get divorced.
But if you do the hard thing now,
The cold shower, the workout, the honest talk, your life becomes easier. It's all about short-term pain for long-term gain. It's compounding.
okay, so let's pause and look at where we are. We've found our specific knowledge. We've productized it with code and media. We have leverage. We are making great judgment calls. We are wealthy. We're in that 999th universe where we made it.
Mission accomplished on the wealth front. Congratulations.
But are we happy?
And this is the pivot. This is where the book changes gears completely and for me becomes even more profound. Because Naval admits that he made the money, he got the status, he got the girls, and he was still miserable.
He says he was born poor and miserable, and he just carried that misery with him all the way to the top.
He realized that getting rich solved his money problems. And that's great. It's not nothing. It removes a lot of external stress. But it didn't solve his internal problems. In fact, he argues the skills that make you rich often make you unhappy.
How so? That's a huge point.
Well, think about what we just discussed. To get rich, you have to be future-focused. You have to be a little paranoid. You have to be constantly planning, striving, wanting more. You train your brain to be in a state of not enough. You're always looking at the horizon for the next thing.
Then you get the money, but you can't turn that switch off. You're still running, still looking at the horizon.
Right. So he had to learn happiness as a skill,
Mhm.
completely separate from wealth. But he defines happiness very, very specifically. He doesn't mean joy or elation.
Which is what I think most of us chase. We want that dopamine hit. We want to feel excited.
Naval says joy is just the flip side of sadness. It's a pendulum. If you are super excited about something, you are setting yourself up to be super depressed when it ends. For him, happiness is peace.
Peace.
The state when nothing is missing, the state when you are not craving something else, he calls it rational Buddhism.
There's that great line, enlightenment is the space between your thoughts.
It's deep, right? When you aren't regretting the past or feeling anxious about the future, what is left? You are just here. And that here-ness, that presence is peace.
But that is incredibly hard. I mean, we are desire machines. I see a new phone, I want it. I see a promotion, I want it. I see someone with a better vacation on Instagram, I want it.
And this leads to my favorite quote in the entire book.
Yeah.
It's a real slap in the face. Desire is a contract you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want.
Oof. Can you say that one more time?
Desire is a contract you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want.
That's brutal because it's so true. Every time I say I really need that new car, I am implicitly saying my life right now sucks without that car.
You are choosing unhappiness today in exchange for the hope of happiness tomorrow. And the problem is, once you get the car, the happiness lasts about 10 minutes. Then you start looking at the boat. It's the hedonic treadmill.
So what's the solution? Just stop wanting things. That seems impossible, especially if we are also trying to build businesses and be ambitious.
He suggests being deliberate. He doesn't say, have zero desires. He says, pick one big desire, have a purpose. Say, I am building this business. That is my chosen suffering for now. But don't punish yourself with 15 different desires.
Right.
Don't try to have the perfect body and the perfect house and the perfect career and the perfect golf swing all at the same time. You'll just be miserable.
Another huge enemy of peace is envy, especially in the age of social media where everyone's highlight reel is on display 24/7.
Oh, envy is the mind killer. We look at someone and think, I want his money, or I want her fame. But Naval offers a mental tool called the total life swap.
This one actually cured me of a lot of jealousy. It's so effective.
It works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The rule is you can't cherry pick. If you are envious of Elon Musk's money, you have to ask yourself, am I willing to be Elon Musk?
Meaning, am I willing to take his 100-hour work weeks, his insane stress levels, his public lawsuits, his inability to walk down the street anonymously, his entire family situation?
The whole package. The sleepless nights, the biological age, the bad knees, the childhood trauma, everything. And usually when you look at the entire life of the person you envy, you realize, actually, no, I'm good. I prefer my problems to their problems.
It moves you from a relative mindset, always comparing yourself to others, to an absolute mindset.
Exactly. If you were playing a single-player game, it doesn't matter what score the guy in the next arcade machine has.
You mentioned single-player game. I want to dig into that. Naval talks about how society forces us into these multiplayer games.
Right. Status is a multiplayer game. I am higher ranked than you. Politics is a multiplayer game. But the most important things in life, your health, your knowledge, your peace of mind, those are single-player.
When you are lying in bed at night with your own thoughts, it doesn't matter how many likes your photo got, it's just you and your mind.
And if your mind is a chaotic mess, you are in hell. No amount of money or fame can fix that.
So how do we clean up the mess? How do we actually practice this piece? Because be present is great advice that is almost impossible to follow for more than 5 seconds for most of us.
Naval treats mental health like physical health. It requires reps. And his main exercise is meditation. But he really demystifies it. He doesn't talk about chakras or chanting or any spiritual awakening.
He calls it inbox zero for the mind.
I love that analogy. He says our minds are like an email inbox that hasn't been checked in 10 years. We have thousands of unread messages, regrets, worries, unfinished arguments from 2015.
And we bury them with distraction. We scroll Twitter, we watch Netflix, we listen to this. Anything to avoid opening that inbox.
Right. So when you sit down to meditate, just sitting quietly, no app, no guidance, what happens? All those emails start flying at you. You said that stupid thing in 2012. You need to fix your car. Why did she break up with me? It's deeply uncomfortable. It's agitation.
And that's why people say, I can't meditate. They think they are doing it wrong because their mind is so busy.
But Naval says that agitation is the work. You are processing the emails. You're finally reading them. If you sit there long enough, he suggests an hour a day for 60 days, you eventually clear the inbox. You resolve the thoughts.
And once the inbox is empty,
You reach a state of choiceless awareness. You can just sit and watch the world without judging it.
that is peace. It's the ability to sit in a room quietly. Pascal said, all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone.
And Naval wants us to reclaim that ability. This links to another habit, the art of doing nothing.
We are so obsessed with productivity, with hacking our time.
But he argues we need to waste time to find time. We need to recover our attention from the phone, the calendar, the alarm clock.
It's so interesting that a tech guy, an investor in Twitter and Uber, is so anti-tech when it comes to his own attention.
He knows how the sausage is made. He knows those apps are designed to hijack your dopamine. He treats them like extremely dangerous tools.
We've talked about wealth and mental peace, but we can't ignore the hardware, the body. Naval puts physical health above everything.
Above family, above everything else.
That sounds a little selfish at first glance, doesn't it?
It does, but it's the oxygen mask principle on an airplane. Put yours on first. If you're dead, you can't help your family. If you're sick and in pain, you can't make good judgment calls. His priority stack is, Physical health first, then mental health, then spiritual health, then your family, then the world.
And his health advice is brutally simple.
Diet-wise, avoid the deadly combo of sugar and fat.
Ah, why that specific combination?
Because it's rare in nature. You find sugar in fruit, you find fat in nuts or meat, but you rarely find them together in high concentrations. But in processed food donuts, ice cream, pizza, it's always sugar or carbs plus fat. That combination hacks your brain, it turns off the satiety signal, it makes you eat until you're sick.
And for exercise.
It doesn't matter what you do, just do it daily. The best workout is the one you will actually do. And he says the harder the workout, the easier the day.
He is also big on cold exposure, the whole Wim Hof thing, cold showers.
This connects right back to the mind. Why do a cold shower? It's not just for inflammation, it's a mental workout. The worst part of a cold shower is the 10 seconds before you step in.
The dread, the anticipation.
The anticipation of suffering. When you force yourself to step in, you are training your mind to override that fear. You are teaching yourself, I can feel fear and act anyway. That carries over into business, into relationships, into absolutely everything.
Finally, I want to touch on his philosophy of acceptance. Because we can strive for wealth and we can meditate for peace, but bad things will still happen. Life is messy.
Naval has a simple flowchart for any situation in life. If you are unhappy with something, you have three and only three options. Change it, accept it, or leave it.
Change it, accept it, leave it.
That's it. If you can change it, do it. If you can leave, quit the job and the relationship, do it. If you can't change it and you can't leave it, you must accept it fully, radically.
The misery comes from the fourth option, the one that's not on the list.
The fourth option is the one most people choose. Wishing it was different, complaining about it, but doing nothing. That is the definition of suffering.
And the ultimate acceptance is death. Memento mori, remember, you will die.
This is where the philosophy gets really deep and beautiful, I think. Naval encourages us to think about death often, to accept that our life is a firefly blink in the night.
That sounds depressing on the surface. Nothing matters, we're all going to be dust.
But Naval flips it, he asks. Why is that depressing? If nothing matters in the long run, if there is no permanent legacy, if nobody will remember you or me in 500 years, then you are free.
Free from what?
Free from expectation, free from social pressure. You don't have to live your life to impress history. You don't have to live your life to please your parents or your peers. You can live your life for you. You can just play.
It turns life from a serious obligation into a game.
Exactly. If the outcome is the same anyway, we all end up as dust, then the only thing that matters is the quality of the experience right now. Are you being authentic? Are you having fun? Are you loving the people around you?
It's a beautiful place to land. We started with how to get rich, which seems so material and gritty, and we ended with life is a firefly blink, which is so spiritual. But in Naval's world, they're completely connected.
They are. You build wealth to buy your freedom. You use your freedom to find peace. And you use your peace to enjoy the ride before the lights go out.
So to bring this all together for everyone listening, if they want to start this journey today, step 1, wealth.
Stop playing the lottery. Start building your specific knowledge. Find the thing that feels like play to you but work to others. Use leverage code, media, capital to scale it. Take accountability under your own name.
Step 2, happiness.
Stop trying to fill the hole with more desires. Happiness is what remains when you remove the craving. Empty the inbox of your mind. Practice the art of doing nothing.
And finally, remember the single-player game.
Stop looking at the scoreboard. Stop looking at your neighbor. Work on your internal state. That's the only game where you can truly win.
I want to leave everyone with a final thought, something to chew on. We talked about productizing yourself, and we talked about how you are a firefly blink.
Yeah.
It seems contradictory. Be a product, but also be nothing.
I think the synthesis is this. You are a process. You aren't a static product. You are a constant iteration. The yourself that you were productizing today is different from the one 10 years ago and will be different again in 10 years.
So the goal is?
The goal is to keep shedding the layers that aren't you, the social conditioning, the expectations, the fears, until you are just pure signal.
Pure signal. I like that. Be the signal in the noise. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive.
See you next time.